What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. We are going to go over another Oakensoul 1-bar PvP build this week before we kind of shift back over to some PvE stuff for the next few. Today we are going to be playing as a Frost Warden, which works very well as a DPS character in Battlegrounds and in the Imperial City when you're playing with a group. Probably it'll work fine in Cyrodiil as well. Will especially shine in Battleground games though, so think Capture the Relic and Chaos Ball, as we're pretty quick on our feet and can deal out nice damage when players are near us. So when it comes to race, you will ideally want to play as an Imperial or a Magicka race like a High Elf or a Dark Elf, but as always you can pretty much do whatever you want. I'm an Argonian here because both of my Wardens are Argonians, so although it's not absolutely perfect, it still works just fine. We'll be placing our attribute points between health and magicka, so something like 20 to 24 health and the rest into magicka works well here, and you can kind of slide points into health either up or down depending on how comfortable you are with your max health. For a Mundus boon, I find that the Atronach works best here, as the extra buff to magicka recovery really comes in handy. And then for food, I like to use either Witch Mother's Potent Brew or Bewitched Sugar Skulls, the former buffing up our magicka recovery even more, and the latter giving us more health recovery and higher stats across the board. Either one works fine, so you can just decide based on how well you're sustaining. And then for potions, we can just use Tri-Restoration potions. For our sets of gear, we're going to be using Frostbite, Noon Attack, and Trainee or Druid's Braid. Frostbite is a light set that can be looted in the Blackwood Overland, and gives us some extra spell damage and critical chance, along with increasing our damage done with frost abilities, and increasing the damage we do to chilled enemies, as well as enemies afflicted with minor brittle. Basically, if we apply the chilled status while holding a frost staff, we debuff enemies with minor brittle, and we apply chilled with our frost damage abilities. It sounds a bit confusing, but we'll set this up so that we don't really have to think about all of this stuff while we're actually playing, because I don't know about you, but I don't really like having to keep track of too many extra things while I'm trying to just focus on playing the damn game. Next up, we'll be wearing two pieces of the monster set from the Imperial City, Noon Attack. This set gives us some armor, and when we deal frost damage, a damaging and snaring area is placed underneath the enemy, and on 4 stacks causes immobilization and major brittle. For a frost staff, we are going to be using the Master's Ice Staff, or the perfected version if you have access. The vanilla version that I'm using here can be looted from the normal Dragonstar Arena, while the perfected one comes from the veteran version. So for a quick rundown of where I've slotted my gear pieces, we're wearing a heavy Noon Attack helmet and medium Noon Attack shoulders, both impenetrable. We're wearing Frostbite on our gloves, pants, belt, shoes, and a ring. All of these Frostbite armor pieces can be impenetrable, with one piece well fitted if you like having the cost reduction on dodge roll and sprint. Trainee will be equipped as a heavy chest piece that's reinforced, along with a necklace, or if you'd like, another heavy reinforced armor piece like legs or something like that. Our staff is going to be precise, or if you'd prefer some more tankiness, defending would work well too, and we'll stick a frost glyph on there. Your Oakensoul ring and 2 other jewelry pieces can all be bloodthirsty with spell damage glyphs. This setup can be adjusted based on the gear that you actually have access to, so if you'd prefer to not wear both Noon Attack pieces or the Trainee pieces, you could always just use the one Noon Attack piece or something else like Valken Scoria for more penetration, and then add another full set or whatever you'd like to do. A good set that would work well here would be Ice Furnace. This one can be looted from the Dire Frost Keep dungeon. It's a heavy armor set that grants some extra magicka, critical chance, spell damage, and when you deal frost damage, some flame damage is also dealt in an 8-meter area every second. Winterborn, a light set from Maelstrom Arena, would also be a nice choice here, granting us some extra magicka and magicka recovery, some spell damage, and when we deal frost damage, we summon an ice pillar that deals extra frost damage in the area, while also reducing the movement speed of anyone caught inside. Moving over to champion points, we'll slot whatever we want in green as usual. In the blue section, we'll be slotting Fighting Finesse, Deadly Aim, Wrathful Strikes, and Force of Nature. And then over in the red section, we'll be slotting Boundless Vitality, Slippery, Celerity, and Strategic Reserve. Make any adjustments to these sections if you like something else better, but this setup works well for me. For passives, we will want to max our animal companions, grab maturation from green balance, we'll want to max out Winter's Embrace, destruction staff should be maxed out, get as much as you can unlocked from all 3 of the armor types, get your Undaunted passives for wearing all 3 armor types, and then go ahead and unlock your racials and anything you like to use from Alliance War, Craft, and the other guilds. Over on our skill bar, we're going to start with a flex spot. I like to keep it passive and slot Blinding Flare here for major protection and to scope out any invisible players. Shimmering Shield would work here too, or whatever else you'd like. Next up we have Deep Fissure to apply Breach and deal some big burst damage. Next up is Frost Reach, which applies Chilled and costs less from our Master's Ice Staff. We also get a spell damage buff for 4 seconds after casting this. We'll be using Deceptive Predator as a mobility skill, especially when running a relic home or chasing down someone with a Chaos Ball or a relic or whatever. Arctic Blast is our self-heal that also stuns and damages enemies near us, having a good chance of applying the chilled status as well. And then our ultimate is of course going to be Permafrost to chill, damage, and slow down enemies in a nice large area. We don't really have a rotation or any pre-buffs with this setup, so the general idea will be to get Deep Fissure cast so your shocks come up by the time you are face to face with your enemy. When you get close, be sure to hit them with both Frost Reach and Arctic Blast to get some debuffs and damage happening. And then from here, just be sure to face your enemy so Deep Fissure doesn't miss. Reapply your skills as their timers run down, and alternate between spamming Frost Reach and heavy attacks to keep your magic going. Don't forget to use potions when you need them, and spam your self-heal in a pinch if you need to. Alright, that's pretty much it for this one. Here's some Battlegrounds clips of this build in action so you can get an idea if this is something that you want to take the time to throw together yourself. Thanks for watching as always, and be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more 1-bar builds and casual ESO content. See you next time.